Okay, folks, good morning. It looks like it defaults to the zoomed out view that we had before. Well, I'm not going to fight with you today. We'll just go with whatever view you want. Here. Let's clear up this area a little bit before we start on the next project we have. This actually worked really good as a cutting board. I have cutting boards, but they take up too much space. Mound of Stickum. One of those things that I've started using kind of recently. It's not something that I've used for decades or anything like that. It's been relatively a new. I think I started using that after the whole hand sanitizer thing. The hand sanitizer thing's even newer than that. I mean, older than that. Don't leave any of these little pieces. Okay. So I was thinking, what's the next vehicle that I'd like to do? And I'd like for it to be, we need to get a handful of vehicles for these profits of petrol. I don't think they're going to be an NPC team, but they could be an NPC team. The same way we kind of used the cops in the one battle that we did use them, where they weren't really controlled by anyone. Of course, they were limited what those guys could do. Cops or people that pretended to be cops, but they weren't really cops. I don't know whether they were ex-cops or wannabe cops. But everybody that was racing in the race somehow thought they were law enforcement. So the people on that law enforcement-ish team wanted to kind of keep it going. Like they knew that the other people thought that they might be cops, so they had to behave accordingly. So kind of the rule that we did is you couldn't shoot at them with any vehicle weapons. So because the cop vehicles I've made are a little on the, let's say, light side. They don't necessarily have any like heavy ordnance or anything like that on them. They've got, pistols and things like that. They've got a front ram. So there's a way, we created a way to play that team with, let's say, a hand tied behind your back, so to speak. And I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, it's like, it's just another way. It's another way of playing the game. I've always been a fan of doing things like that. I am not one of those mini-maxing type people that's like, oh, we're only going to use the best, and you're only going to experience, you're going to only have those experiences. So I like to think outside your comfort zone, so to speak. So I decided that this is a very popular car. It gets posted a lot of videos for it online. And this is a Hot Wheels Vairstike. I guess it's a Corvair. What do I have on me? And what is like... I don't know anything that's chalky like that. Must have been residue from sanding. It's a Corvair. It's called Vairstike. It recently got... It's a 2026. I don't know if it's a new casting or it got re-released or something like that. It is a cool car. I think everybody likes this vehicle. I think this is a car from the 1960s, based on a car from the 1960s. And it's got some nice elements to it. It also has some things that are kind of odd, I think. One of them being that it has Asian writing. It has some shit. We probably should find out what the hell that means. And it also has like a tag here, almost like it says Vince or Vance or something like that. Let's see if I can get a zoomed in photo of this. Let's kill this light. Let's focus on that. Go to 5 times. That's not going to work that well. We're going to come in here and then zoom in. Maybe it's Vince. Maybe it's Vince. Anyways, regardless of what it is. And then we have some Asian caricatures here. Let's find out what that says. Let's find out what this thing says. Let's see. That wasn't very useful. All right. What Asian characters are written on the side of the Hot Wheels Vairstike car? Well, somebody's already asked about it. The Asian characters on the side of the Hot Wheels Vairstike, often misremembered or spoken as Vairstike, literally translates to velocity and speed. First released in the 2026 mainline series. So this is a new casting for 2026. The Vairstike was designed by Dwayne Vance, so I guess that's his name, Vance, as a heavily customized futuristic take on a classic Chevrolet Corvair. Along with the Asian script, the car features subtle Vance and DV markings. Where's the DV marking? Oh, down here in the bottom. Down here in the bottom. Good car to go with. Vairstike's very cool. I'm finding out about it. If you like, I can help you find the specific colorways and releases of the Vairstike. No, it doesn't matter. We're going to repaint this thing. I can't believe you're repainting it. I would not have Asian characters on this car. It's not worthy of an Asian vehicle. Sorry. It's just not. So, it's going to be for the profits of petrol. Which means it's probably going to be primed black. I'm probably not going to strip it. There's not that much paint caked on there, and that adds 3 hours to the process. We are going to take the wheels off. And just to prove that I am a bigger fan of that Matchbox wheels are better than Hot Wheels, I'm going to replace it with these. I just had these laying around. I have no idea what vehicle they're from. They look awesome. They look even more aggressive. Let's see if I can show you the picture here. It's going to look a little weird because the side, let's kill this. The side shot of the wheels that come with the vehicle have that little red trim, which kind of throws everything off. Now that ends up being, even if you don't repaint that, by the time you weather it, it won't even look red. but it's kind of like a racing tire. So I'd like to replace it with this right here. And honestly, this is kind of a nice thing that Matchbox does. They give you a tread pattern, but then it's still smooth. So it's like a racing tire, but it still has the grooves on the outside. Instead of, having a pattern or something like that. Now, width-wise, I think they're going to be really close. So that's the very first thing we're going to do is and we're not going to throw these away. These are actually decent looking tires. They're better than those round ones with the plate on them. Let's remove that. We just pull that little guy off. And let's remove that and pull that little guy off. And I bet you this is going to look, assuming it fits, much improved. Boy, talk about. I know that they make these bars aftermarket. I don't want to get into that. There's some things that just aren't worth my time, and that's one of them. Going and getting other little, man, it's just a wee bit too tight. How freaking odd. Well, let's do this. It's really close. Let's see if just by removing that little tab and that little tab, I mean, it's really close. And this is why I like working with, man, I really wish I could put like a fucking bib. Because so many things fall down here between my legs, but I can't be like over it or I'll have, fucking neck trouble. I think we just wedge just enough to wedge it in there. Just enough to wedge it in there. Okay. Well, I don't want it to have that stupid camber that vehicles sometimes have. So I'm going to take a little bit more off, and that should be enough to get us where we need to be. Oh, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I think by doing that on both sides, it's just going to be just enough to fit that in there. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do the same thing on the front. And I forgot to order some punks. I need to do that today. I need to order some punks for this. I'm gonna order some drivers for this team. I don't care what they cost. Well, I'm not to that extreme, but it's time. I've thought about it too much. Now let's see what this looks like with this. Much better. Much better. Almost looks too good. Now, if I kept the same paint scheme, I like the fact that it has a little black circle there that I could put a little skull or something in there. But alas, we won't be doing that. Okay? It is likely that I'm going to prime this black and then dry brush the color on. That may be what this team has going for it. It doesn't look that rough anyways, but, and those wheels go in the spares. I'm probably going to use those wheels to replace ones that have that stupid little cover on. You get way too many of those things. Way too many of those things. So, yeah. So immediately I thought, okay, well, it'd be nice to give this thing a vehicle name that is, that you could tell what it came from. Either something with core or strike. And I think for a moment here, we're going to call it Death Strike. I think that's right. Now, interesting thing enough about this, look at the front headlamps. They have like little X's on them, like there's tape so they won't shatter. So I think I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna paint them and then put like little red tape or something like that to go over that. It's funny. I used my advisory panel here to give me ideas for some names, and they never. It's usually not that helpful, but it sometimes will say a word or a catchphrase that helps you think of other things. And in the case of this particular vehicle, it gave me a bunch of names for other cars. I didn't necessarily like how it built any of them because it has the, you're talking about stuff like little candles and things like that that aren't really, appropriate. Like, how are you going to go at high speed with candles burning? Like, it's, think about it. But it gave me some names of some vehicles. The open casket. Well, that one definitely has to be something that's cut off, and everybody in the vehicle is visible, right? Like an open top vehicle. That would be good name for a convertible for the profits of petrol. The open casket. Sink compression. Sink compression has to be a very big vehicle. You can't have a Saint in some small vehicle. It just doesn't work. The corpse grinder. Well, that one definitely has to have the those blades at the front. Undertaker, the Last Breath, Death Choir, and the Red Testament. I liked one that I asked it earlier. It gave me earlier, which was the Black Psalm. I like the Black Psalm. So that is an other. The Black Psalm, charcoal black body, that's easy enough to do. Dark metallic engine, dried blood red prophet symbol, and tiny lines of cream colored scripture painted along the sides. Give it tall organ pipe exhaust stack so the engine's roar is considered sacred music. Well, the engine isn't that big, but it did give me an idea of when am I ever going to use this thing? And I always thought of this as like a ram, but maybe it needs to be exhaust stacks. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't work on this one because we're going to cover up part of the engine, but if we remove the engine, make it hidden, that might. God, I hate fumbling things. That might actually not be bad. That may actually not be bad. And as I like to say, that's within my skill set to do that. And this thing's been kicked around so long, like, we'll use it on the next one, we'll use it on the next one, we'll use it on the next one kind of thing. What would we have to remove from this? We'd have to remove basically from that line over. I don't know, do I like that look? Gonna be black. let's do a build that maybe can incorporate something like that. We'll decide if we want to go in that direction or not. Deathstrike just seems a bit lame. You know, like anybody could come up with that. Alright, so if I wanted to call this the Black Song, okay, we ended up using Purifying Flames in the big car. Ecstatic Visions, it soaks up hazards to heal for that. Okay, nah. Sympathy for the Devil, evade stuff. Highway to Hell. Yeah, but I don't want it to have flames and shit on it yet. I want to save that for something else. Violent Manifestation. It basically, when it respawns, it does a blast. Now, I haven't been using respawns in the game. That might be something that we can do. It's also something you might be able to do if these guys are in fact going to be NPCs, which I don't necessarily want to go in with that mentality. Maybe the NPCs can respawn, but not the regular players. Angel of Death, it does extra damage to itself for more attack value. Yeah, that might actually be nasty if you do the Violent Manifestation. Because basically you can like get more damage to yourself to do more attack. And you're going to put a hurting on yourself, which makes it more likely for you to die soon. Which means you're more likely to respawn. Which means when you respawn, you blast again. You know? We haven't played with audience votes at all. The game got too... For a simple game, it can get out of hand. Like, that's one thing we stopped doing the way that the pole position worked in Death Race. Mitch and I'd fuck it up all the time. And we didn't want to, but it was like, you know, it's like basically somebody has pole position and they always go first, right? And that doesn't change until somebody goes through the gate. Then I believe the rule is the person that goes through pole position gets to pick which other person gets pole position. And it goes that way. It's just like, it's too predictable. And you're supposed to go like in order. So if there's like 5 people playing and I got pole position, I'm going to go first. Then Harry, then Frank, then Sally, then Francine, then it's my turn again. I know, we're playing with some, you know, creative named older ladies. I don't know. Although Francine would be a good name for a car. Because what's the one off the Stephen King book that I've not seen? Christine? I'm writing that one down. We're going to have a Francine car. Sister Francine. Yeah, some death car or whatever. And you have like a Cadillac or something like that. Some old school car. Anyhow, that's why I write all this shit down, you know? I knew you didn't play with audience. No, I'm not against it. It got too fucking complicated. And you know, we've played a few times, but we haven't played that many times. We played like 8. You know? And immediately when I saw the game, I'm like, I don't want to play with these teams. They're stupid. They're not stupid. They don't appeal to me at all. The Mars thing is stupid. Sorry. You start throwing planets and stuff, I'm like, there's enough interesting things happening on Earth. We don't need to go to other planets. Right? We know there's an Earth. I don't know about all the other shit. So, yeah, so I don't want to do free perks. Right? All the perks that I buy for all the teams are just, you know, associations. They're just associations with each other. Not like, okay, we can only use these guys on these super tech skills on the super tech teams. I'm like, I want the weapons to fit the name of the vehicle that fits the vehicle they go on, and you know, it just that's what makes sense to me. You don't want to do it that way, that's fine. I'm not saying it's just that's the author's vision. I don't like that story. You think drag racers would need audience points? I think so too. They need a lot more. They need a prayer. I've looked at the rules and I'm like, the first one I should do is the Batmobile. I've got like the Batmobile from like the Tim Burton movie, the first Batman. It's just all black and it's got those big wangs on it and stuff like that. And I keep saying that one's just going to be it's just going to be called Batshit Crazy. It has nothing to do with Batman. It's just some guy is crazy, and then the tie-in is that it's bad and bad shit, right? And he's just a dragster, and it's out of control. Yeah, I've read it. I'm like, unless you're playing on a straightaway, you're hosed. And if you're playing on a straightaway, like nothing else is competitive. It's just really weird. I mean, unless you're playing a whole race of everybody has a dragster, or every group, every team has a dragster. But the first thing that I thought of, and people were complaining, was that some of the teams have better free perks than others. Like maybe Varney. I don't know what they are. But the teams that are in the game, that's going to be really difficult to balance. So let's do none of that. Like every car has to buy its own stuff. So a 27-point car for one team has the same value as the 27-point vehicle for another team. Because they don't okay, well, if it's on this team, then it gets an extra round of ammo. And if it gets on this one, then it gets to ignore all hazards thing. That's just too difficult to quantify. Is that worth the same as this? It's like everybody buys their own shit, right? Everybody, there's no lobbyists. You don't get free shit. There's no lobbying here. All right, well, if we're going to put these pipes on here, it needs to either have a sound, assuming I'm going to go this route. I just, honestly, just set it on here and I'm like, fuck, that fits on there great. It fits on there great. So it needs to have like a boost of speed or a sound thing or both. So yeah, let's look at the rules. And that's where you can tinker with this. You could, let's say, which is the vehicle that has the annoying sound thing? The food truck, ice cream truck. This doesn't look like an ice cream truck, but it could be an ice cream truck vehicle if that's something that you want to implement. You're playing around with one that didn't have any weapons, and instead I try to use perks to offset the hazard token problem. Yeah, the game is really basic, but if you layer the perks on top of each other, you can, because you look at them there's not that many weapons. You got a machine gun, you got a heavy machine gun, okay, same fucking thing. You got a chain gun, that's it. That's all you have. The rest of this stuff is fucking cannons that have very limited ammo, or, really weird weapons, like arc flash things and the little zappers, and there's just not that many different things instead of being, but so I'm like, man, I don't want to use a heavy machine gun that looks like this and then another one that looks like that. And then eventually I got over it, But everything else, I want to see what you see is what you get. I don't want to put these big pipe organs and they don't do anything special. It's it catches your eye man, what's that? If it says, what's that? It should be a cue that's something different. In my world, you can do whatever you want, There's some people Gaslands isn't what you see is what you get. Well, it is for me. Because I've got hundreds of cars I'm going to build, and you might as well make them perform kind of what they look like. So when you look at the car, it kind of reminds you what the car could do. You look at this car, you look at this guy right here. It's probably going to be able to take off really fast off the start line. Probably. You're not going to put this oh, this only goes up to third gear. Well, then why even make it look like this? I don't. That goes against. Oh shit! The wheel wells on this fit perfectly. Step away from this. I'm tinkering with the bottom of this thing. That's why it's out here and it's in pieces, because it's got these big old racing slicks, and I don't necessarily love the way I may tinker. I like this, and this is also going to be a profits vehicle. All right, I digress. So the drag racer is probably no good, but on a team, I think it has a place. Just that turning, man. They just can't. They can't turn. And people play on a 3x3. No way. You can't play on a 3x3. A 3x3 is extreme. I think a 4x4 is probably the smallest. And honestly, playing on the island is the best. I like playing on the island. You can make it however you want. It doesn't have to be down one side and down the other one. Okay, so let's go to the rules here. Let's do some brainstorming. Okay, if you look at the vehicles here, it is ice cream truck is the infuriating jingle. But the infuriating jingle is not a good thing. The infuriating jingle is a perk or an anti-perk that if you have it, people, when they ram you, don't get any hazards on them. So every vehicle that decides to ram a vehicle that has it, if this has an infuriating jingle, any other vehicle that comes here to try to hit it, even though it doesn't have a ram, it gets treated like it has a ram from the standpoint of taking hazards. It doesn't take hazards on it. You're so angry at this fucking sound this vehicle is making that you're not like you're holding her steady and you're not wiggling it. So it's a bad thing to have if you're this guy. You'll still take damage, but or you still could take damage, but you're not hazard. So that's not really the sound thing I like. What are the other sound things that this thing has? Is it wall of amplifiers? But you can't use wall of amplifiers because wall of amplifiers uses 3 build slots, and you'd have to have this as a truck, and then that's all it would do. It wouldn't do anything else. Now, I could do that. I could call this a truck. I mean, it does have a bed on it, and it could be a support vehicle. The Boombox Carnage has a wall of amplifiers, and the Thumper. Well, they're all about the noise. Those guys like to listen to music, and it's all about the boom. So I could do that. It's like, and then the Psalm thing I think would work really well with that. And the bad point is it uses all the build slots. The good point is it's not very expensive. It's only 4. And it also helps take hazards away from other vehicles. Could also use Thumper, but the Thumper affects everybody. And I like the idea that if this is playing a tune or a chord, and I'm not a music person, but if it gives you like a chord, it would be beneficial to your own people, but bad for the others. So I don't necessarily mind the wall of amplifiers. But that means we're going to have to do a couple things on this. We're going to have to turn this into a truck. And I think we need to give it a little bit more speed because it looks faster than it looks like it should be able to get into gear 5. So let's go with that. Okay? Let's go with that. And this is one of the things, if there's something I dislike about Gaslands, the way that the game is building cars, boy, that's worded improperly to the max. If there's something about, I think the point values and stuff and the build slots that the author did is really sharp. I mean, it limits you, but there's ways to kind of get around it, and it kind of makes you think about stuff. So it's kind of a fun exercise. But I really like the fact that everything has a cost, and I wish that I could decide, hey, this is going to cost 4, but I want to give this an extra build slot just to put a machine gun on. I'm going to pay for the machine gun, right? It's not like, oh, we want the machine gun for free. But this vehicle won't allow me to do that, because then I have to put this on a larger vehicle. And I don't like being hamstrung. And I could just throw that to the wind and say, tough titty, it's my game, I can do whatever I want. But I don't want to give myself that kind of odd sound. I don't want to give myself that kind of freedom, because then it's a slippery slope. I haven't done it yet. So it's a fastest looking car. Exactly. So let's go with this and see if this is a viable build from the standpoint that even if you can do it, because I've been looking to use this on everything, and the name Black Psalm is like great, and I'm gonna paint it black, so and then I'm gonna have to get some kind of ringtone or something for like a something like that. Obviously better than that. Okay. Because this isn't a. It's not a. It's not a. They're not Christian zealots. They're not. They're not any religion that exists now. And they're not necessarily evil. It's not like they're satanic. They're almost like self-immolating, self-sacrificing dudes. Like these guys, if they die in the game, they probably would be happy. They're they're kind of crazy. They're kind of crazy. Yeah. Like all the other team guys, right? You got guys on Asian Devastation, right? They're all criminals, but they want to survive. It's not like, I don't. Yes, let's die. And these guys are like, let's fucking die. So let's see what we can do with this. Let's work at it backwards. Okay, we're gonna do a wall of amps. Wall of amps is only 4 points, but it's going to use all 3 build slots that we have to give it. So my options at this point to have that type of vehicle with 3 build slots are a truck, an ambulance, a bus, or larger. Well, it ain't no damn bus, because at the end of the day, there aren't going to be 8 people in there. Okay? An ambulance, we already did an ambulance, and it does do 12 points of damage. But the problem is that it's a 20-point vehicle. And I really want to get this at 27 because it's not big enough for a 35. I don't want it to be a 35-point vehicle. Now, an ambulance does get you up to gear 5. But it costs 5 more points than a truck. The truck also has a crew. Truck. A truck has a crew of 3. I don't think I could see 3 people being in there. So maybe it's an ambulance, another ambulance, or an ambulance type vehicle. It gets up or downers, which I don't think is a bad thing, playing this pipe dream. Okay. Build slots 3, we use them. Crew. Oh, it also has a crew of 3. Well, fucking throw that out the window. Handling 2. See, this vehicle should be faster than it handles well. I'm not saying it should handle poorly, but it should have speed over handling. And a truck is handling of 2 and speed of 4. I think it should be an ambulance. I think it should be an ambulance. Let's attempt this. We're going to call this the Black Psalm for now. Let's go through this exercise. It's an ambulance type vehicle. The same way DBA is a, oh, those guys don't look like they should be knights. Well, they are in the game, you know? So an ambulance type vehicle is 20 points, has 3 build slots. Wall of amps, we're at 24. We have no build slots left, but we have 3 points left. That's okay. Yeah, 3 guys are going to be shooting pistols out of it. See, I'd love to put like a ram on it or something. I can't. Uses up a build slot. That's okay. It would fuck up the front of the look of the car anyways. Okay. We need weapons that don't... Oh, we have no build slots. So whatever we do, can't use any build slots. So do we have any weapons that don't use build slots that would be appropriate? Blunderbuss, no. Gas grenades, no. Grenades, better than gas grenades, but magnetic jammer, not appropriate. Magnum, maybe, but I'd only be able to use 1. Molotov cocktails, not on this vehicle. Oil slick dropper, no. See, here's the thing. If you have a team called the Prophets of Petrol, I think they would be more likely to use napalm droppers. They're just, an oil dropper is almost like, oh, get away from me, take that. You know, and these guys are like more aggressive than that. They would like want to do damage more than just like be a hindrance. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not saying that they can't use oil, but in my mind, they would be more likely to use oil. Use something that does actual damage. Like smoke dropper, no. Steel nets, submachine gun. Well, how many points we got left? 3? Could have an exploding ram. The game is really complicated. Like, I think we used exploding rams one time, and we forgot to take the fact that it does damage to itself. You know, it's like, I was thinking about that the other day. I said, I don't think we did that where it could take damage itself. Nitro booster would be alright, but it's 6 friggin' points. I don't think an exploding ram works. I don't think an exploding ram works. I think we just give it a magnum and call it a day. Is this viable? I think so. I think so. I'm excited to use this thing on here. I don't want to strip the paint. It's too much freaking work. It's too many steps, not the work. It's like, all right, wait for it to dry, you know. Let's take these decals off. That's just so we don't have a, when you go and paint it black, you're not like, hey, why is that little area raised? really, really brittle. I might not give it a magnum and give it another perk. That's just, like a standard perk, like a normal vehicle. I don't know yet, but regardless, it won't promote having to put something on the vehicle that has to serve a certain purpose. Like, oh, I got to put a minigun on it because it's going to have a minigun. My other wall of amplifiers thing doesn't have, is a truck. So it's not, I don't have a wall of amplifiers, it's an ambulance vehicle. Okay. This is definitely going to have to be painted because it's chrome. I like that there, but in doing so, I need to take everything from here off. But I want to leave this. I don't want to cut it because if I do that, then I don't have anything holding the wheels in place. Although, is it really that necessary? It might be. Is the base of this sticking out? It is not. So if I keep this flat section down, the rest of it can go. So that's what we want to remove it by. And this is actually one of the things that it actually makes sense to. I don't mind that this like gives a little, because some of these things have like prongs that stick down, so you can just pop it through the cardboard. I'm going to try to do this gently. And this is it's going to take damn too long. Let's see. Too damn long. I don't think the hot glue gun can bend this easily. I could just take it to the Dremel. But then that means I can't glue everything in here. Let's see. Yeah, I like these. I like these wheels. These wheels are nice. Oh, we got that going on back there. We can do all that outside because this is going to be primed. This is all going to be sealed up. So let's go to the armor plate part and see if we can't seal this joker up. Do we have any front armor plates that work? This one works wonderfully, but it's got like a couple little slots like a couple of miniguns could be in. So I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste it on that. Let's Where's this? Got some dust and shit on me. Okay. Where's that runaway engine that I had over here? It would be kind of nice to have a bunch of these extra engine castings just to put them, not as a functioning engine, but just like, hallowed be thy engine, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, like little trinkets and stuff, like, hallowed be thy engine, yeah. I'm going to have to take the Dremel to this and just cut everything from this line all the way to here. It doesn't have to look pretty or anything, but it's from here to here. Because if I slice this down, I want to keep this piece of metal here and this piece of plastic holding the wheels in place. If I remove it there, then there won't be anything holding the wheels down, which could be all right. But I'm still going to have to saw it outside. I'm still going to have to saw it. If I cut this down like so, well, if I cut that down like so, I'll have one thing to hold the wheel in place. Let's, where's my, do I have another saw here? I do. Okay. But I don't have another handle for it. All right, let's try to do this. Blow this in my drink. Plastic is so much better than working with anything else for stuff like this. All right, now we've removed that, so now this fits in here comfortably. Okay. And there's a little bit of a gap fill back here. So I'm probably going to glue this down with epoxy. I'm probably going to glue this to this with epoxy. All right, let's close up this, this, and this with mesh. We don't need that one. We don't need the tight pattern one. We got a tight pattern one here. We need an open pattern one. Yeah, hopefully I'm almost to. I'm probably going to have to order that soon. I've gone through a lot of it. and save that for shit. Okay, let's go from this corner into the half point and go from this corner into the half point. Let's go from the middle part, which is there, to just shy of halfway up. So the middle part, something like that. Let's taper this a little bit. Well, that's great. That's superb. Okay, let's glue, right? Let's glue that in place. Where's Glueland? What is it? What do we call this? The People's Republic of Glueland. They're like, yeah, so these guys are like, you know, self-immolators. Self-immolators. Yeah, so they're like Buddhist monks. Not quite. I don't know anything about Buddhist monks, but I'm pretty sure they don't go out and try to hurt other people. These guys try to hurt other people. Got both kaijus painted, just have to let the speed paint cure, I think, before hitting it with some dry brush highlights. That's the only thing I wouldn't like about it is when you water down paint, you gotta like wait. And it's not that I'm impatient, but I'd like to work on one thing and then finish that one thing before I go on to something else. I'm not a fan of jumping around. And sometimes we have to, but I jump around enough at work and I'm not happy about it. It's not satisfying. It's not a very satisfying feeling to have bits of 4 things done and not one thing complete, so to speak. Those going to be based on the colors of real kaiju, or you're just going to just do whatever you want? I don't think the speed paints would be a good thing for me. I think they're a good thing for, I'm always pro consumer. I mean, as long as you're not making shitty products, make more products. I'm sure they're a solution for a lot of people. There's one guy that I know started using speed paints, and he's an experienced painter. I'm not really sure why he started using them, and then at the end of the day, he decided that he'll use them, but they weren't. He wasn't going to convert to them completely. I think speed paints are probably really good for, like, maybe if you don't like painting horses or something like that. They'd be good to, like. I just don't like that they involve dry. They involve a light color base. It's like watercolors, right? They're watercolor like. I mean, I could do it. Like I did it with the dinosaur. I think you could turn regular paints into speed paints by using this the medium, the gloss medium. I mean, the glaze medium. I think that's what you do. Is you could take any of these and turn it into a speed paint per se by adding more of this. Make them look more like the TV show instead of vending machine toys. Did you get them in? So are they vending machine toys like you get one random, or like I like that one B4 because that's okay. I don't like that. I don't know what I'm gonna get. Well, then I don't know what I'm gonna pay you. It goes both ways. That store, that Japanese store called a Bisu that we went into, had an entire area that was just nothing but vending machine things that, I mean, they were like $3 and you didn't know what you were going to get. I mean, you were going to get one of these type of things, but you didn't know exactly which one you wanted to get. Hey, what's up, Lee? How in the hell are you? All right, we're going to cut. This angle is pretty similar, so we're going to cut here, 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 and then we're going to go across these to that. And that should do it. And then we'll do a mirror image and see if I fuck that up. I'm not good at mirror image things. Like left hand, writing with your left hand. Like, sign me out of that one. I'm no good. You like having lots of different tools do the same job, so I probably won't use them for everything, especially buildings. And yeah, they're random. Well, you got lucky that you got some stuff that you like. You know? I was gonna say something, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna say it anyways, because that's how I roll. Is gambling, and I don't mean this ugly, okay? Is gambling a thing that is more prevalent in Asian cultures? I know that I've watched several programming things where it seems to make it sound like the Japanese, at least, when they drink, they fucking drink. Now, obviously, that's not everybody, you know, but I cut on the wrong one. It's not a problem because, all right, we're gonna take this. We're gonna remove this little tail. I don't have the gambling gene. I don't have it. I don't think I ever will have the gambling gene. Because, like, okay, how long have I played war games that involve luck? Basically my whole life. Not my whole life, but basically my whole life. And I don't like taking risks. I don't. I'll do it if I have to, but that's not my MO, you know? My MO is not like, hey, let's see what fucking happens. Like, that just, I'm just not that kind of, I'm not that exciting. I'm sorry, you know? Let's remove this little thing here, but keep most of. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. And as I've gotten older, I'm probably less of one than I would have been earlier because it's just like now I'm almost, and I hate to sound like I'm in failing health, but there's things that have happened, I'd say in the last 3 years, that I just don't enjoy how it makes my heart feel. Rides at roller coasters, just extreme stress. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested well, that's because you're older. No, I've just had more extreme stress stuff happen at work, and I'm older, but there's just some things that I just don't want to. I don't want something else as an emergency. Regular gambling is illegal in Japan, I think, but they have a workaround in pachinko, and those are really popular and very popular, very very popular. I don't play blackjack. Not blackjack. Poker. But if I did, and we did for a while, we did for like a year. We probably had a group that played poker, and it was like once a month, and you went in with $20. I don't care. That's not gambling because I never re-upped. Like that's it. Just assume it's lost, and you're having a social thing. It's not like you're out in a casino gambling with people that are like, I gotta win, and they're just like, get away from me, it's not that thing. It was a social thing, but I wouldn't play poker for free, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like that's part of but that's like low risk. Like you just assume that the $20 are going to be gone, and you'll be there 4 hours, and who cares, I don't call that gambling. We did have that experience though that someone got invited to this event, and it was a $20 buy-in, and this person had a superiority complex or a very small penis or something where it's look, I've played DBA and war games. Sometimes it's just not your day. Some days things aren't going to work out for you, so you need to cut your losses. And this guy was just like he wasn't going to lose. Well, guess what? It was his turn to lose, and he ended up going in. He ended up like blowing $300. And no, he wasn't 5'2". He was actually a tall dude, but he had a superiority complex, and he got smoked. I didn't smoke him. I was out early, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just hang out for a little bit. So I don't see how that's an addiction. It's not an addiction for me, put it that way. Just like alcohol's not an addiction for me. I'm like, I don't want somebody telling me I can't have a drink, but if I never have another one in my entire life, I'm okay. I just don't want somebody telling me I can't have one. We're going to fight, Now I need to flip this because I want this side up. We'll get you later. Wherever you may have gone to. I don't know how people do this with carpet. Like I have no carpet in the house, so. And if I immediately stay at a hotel that has carpet, which is like all of them, except interestingly enough, it seems like hotels in third world countries tend to not have carpet. I start getting sniffly. Not terribly so, but it's annoying thinking that you're getting sick and you're not really getting sick. Okay, and here. All right, now we should have a mirror image of this other side. Hope both sides are built the same. Okay, that's good. And then over here, that's good. All right. The people who make me life, people make you laugh are the horse racing gambling addicts. Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. You know, it's like everybody's gambled. That's a fair statement. Somebody's done some kind of gambling. And odds are, you probably didn't win the first time you gambled. So why would you want to do it again? And if you did do it again, you probably didn't win also. So why would you want to keep doing it? It's like, hey, here's this wall. You want to bang your head up against it? It's like, let's see how it feels. Bam! I didn't like that. Let's do it again. Like, I don't know. One of my daughter's girlfriends reminded me of something that I told her that I'd have forgotten that I told her. Well, she's over 18, but she was, we went on a cruise we brought her with us on a cruise, and she wanted to gamble. And I forgot what it was she played, probably slots or something like that. And she won her first time out. So she's like, what should I do? And I said, walk away. And she did. And she reminded me of it the other day. I'm like, yep, now you're up. You'll never gamble again. You can say you've never lost gambling. Being able to say stuff like that is like, I value that a lot. Like, like I say also, I've never done drugs. So if I'd never do drugs, if you do them once, you can't say you've never done them. So like, why would I take that away from myself? I mean, once you do drugs, you might as well do them all. And she reminded me of that the other day. I'm like, really? I told you that? I said, shit, I'm wiser than I think I am. Like $10 or $20 or something like that. It wasn't something ridiculous. It wasn't like, I think she was like 20 years old, actually, not 18, but regardless. You don't get me for any of that money. Yeah, everybody fights with the autocorrect. I fight with fat fingery things. I fat finger things and make those mistakes. I do turn autocorrect off, and when there's a phone update, the son of a bitch turns it back on. So that happened to me recently. I type things, we use weird terminology when we're talking about our hobby that's not standard English. Whether we're talking about things that happen in other languages or, kaiju, things like that. I mentioned kaiju to my wife the other day, and she's like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, and you shouldn't know what that is. It's not a normal thing. And most people aren't going to know what that is. Most people that aren't, into eclectic things like we are wouldn't know what that is. But that's like, it's going to autocorrect you kind of thing. But I've had that happen, but it happened recently. It was a phone update, and now it's auto-correcting everything. I'm like, I gotta turn that shit off. Because it'll give me the right spelling of a word, but that's not the word I chose. The way social media algorithms work on your brain is very similar to how gambling can get you addicted. I had to look a terminology up that I did not know what it was. And it's called death scrolling. I'm like, what the hell is death scrolling? Death scrolling seems like, let's look for ideas on the internet of how to commit suicide. That's what it seems like it is, right? You tell me what death scrolling is, ways to commit suicide on the internet. No, I'm not promoting suicide. I'm just saying that's what that term should be called. Instead of like, look at all the news on the internet and then makes you feel miserable. Well, I'm not really affected by that shit. This hobby helps. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, did you know that we're now attacking so-and-so? I'm like, no. Why would I know that? Well, you don't listen to the news? No. Why? They lie too much. Doom scrolling. That's right, doom scrolling. I guess death scrolling would be what I was talking about. What is death scrolling? Doom scrolling. Too many people push too many lies, whether it's the media, people that are attention whores. It's just like, I just ignore them. Like, death scrolling. Yeah, same thing. Who believes all that shit? There's so many lies and fakeisms. Fakeasm. That sounds like something else. I guess if I remove this wing, this would fit in there. We're just going to epoxy this. And then we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I don't want to remove any of those pipes. They look nice. All right, see if we remember how to use epoxy. It's been a while. And we had to get a new epoxy. Is it up here? No. Bob Smith Industries. Yeah, still good. Still good. All right. We don't need a whole lot. Ah, shit. This is the one that says Francine. Keep that. I haven't seen that movie. I'm not a fan of Stephen King. Except Misery. And not the book. Only movie I've seen twice in the movie theater. It wasn't really by choice. Two different people wanted to see it in 1990 or whatever the hell that was. Back when people still went to movies. Okay. Where is... We could just use one of these. This is fine. Yeah, you get these post-it notes at the dollar store, and then, it's peace of mind. Now, let's find out where this is going to sit on here. It's going to sit well all the way here on the sides. There's no point running it down in this area. So we're going to put it here, and here, and here. I think as long as it touches those areas, this is extremely lightweight, so it's like using a wall anchor to put in a post-it note, you know. Make sure we're in alignment. And that's why it's in a little receptacle. I'm going to put a little dab right here. So if it does grab the end, that helps hold it in place. All right, we're going to forget this thing exists. I'm going to move it over here. All right, is there any other trinkets that we want to add to this thing? Well, let's see if there's any appropriate trinkets. Black Psalm, huh? Oh, here's a lonesome engine all by itself. It came off of one of those Impalas. I don't see anything jumping out at me. While this dries, let's have some fun with this. Let's hope I don't conjure up a demon with what I'm about to do. I'm kidding, of course. Oh, you're reading off the names of IKEA products? Somebody said that one time, like the names of IKEA products. It almost seems like you're conjuring up a Viking type demon, you know. Okay, where's the microphone here? Why is there no microphone? Okay, let's put this here. Give me some names of some. I think I want to word this. Give me some ideas for scriptures that the prophets of petrol would use. Let's just leave it at that. See where it goes from that. From the first spark came fire, from the fire came motion, from the motion came dominion. The book of ignition 1:1. I guess that's the Genesis. Blessed are the engines that thirst, for they shall drink deeply of the black blood. Octane 3:16. Rust is not decay. Rust is the mark of survival. Corrosions 7:4. The road remembers every drop of, and I'm not saying it in the right voice. I just don't want to wake up everybody in the house. You know, the road remembers every drip of blood spilled upon it. The Asphalt Testament, 9:12. Feed the engine, praise the flame, fear the silence, litany of combustion. He who hoards fuel shall burn alone. The Book of the Last Tank, 4:8. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Oh, this is hilarious. This is awesome. I don't want it to take over your life. It's just, it's entertaining. People are like, oh, but there's nothing wrong with pornography. This is more useful. When the final refinery falls, the faithful shall ride upon fumes. Revelations of the Empty Gauge, 13:7. Mercy is given to the machine. The flesh must fend for itself. Iron Mercy, 6:6. Let the weak seek shelter. The faithful seek horsepower. The Gospel of Torque, 8:12. 4 wheels carry the body. 8 cylinders carry the soul. The Pistons, 5:7. The dead do not need fuel. Take what remains. The Scavenger's Testament, 2:9. An engine rebuilt is a soul reborn. The Wrench Bearer, 4:4. The great engine sleeps beneath the earth. I thought it came from the sky. Okay. Every ignition is a prayer that it may awaken. Undead engine. The Book of the Buried Motor, 12:1. Fear not death. Fear the engine that will not start. Octane, 9:11. Ask for apocalyptic verses. I don't know, we might summon something. Well, it only works if you actually pray to that stuff, and we're not going to go there, so. Okay. Ask for a... Give me some apocalyptic verses that the prophets of petrol would use. It's really good about writing down every single thing you say correctly. It's really good at that. Absolutely. These should feel like end times prophecy carved into rusted steel, recited by the prophets of petrol as the world collapses around them. Okay, here we go. And when the last well runs dry, the great engine, both of them capitalized, great and engine, the great engine shall awaken beneath the earth, and its roar shall split the heavens. Revelations of the Black Blood, 13:1. The sun shall burn white, the rivers shall turn to dust, and the roads shall belong to those who still carry flame. The Asphalt Apocalypse, 6:6. 4 riders shall come from the smoke, war upon iron wheels, famine with an empty tank, pestilence breathing exhaust, and death beneath the wheel. The Book of the Final Road, 4:13. And I saw the cities burning, and from their ashes rose engines without number, hungry for the flesh of the faithless. Visions of combustion, 9:7. Woe unto those who hear the clicking. We're going to have Sunday service at 9 o'clock, just in case you guys want to know. Woe unto those who hear the clicking of the starter. That's what I was laughing about, clicking of the starter. Yet receive no ignition, for their hour has come. The Lamentations of the Dead Battery 3612. Well, that one's just ridiculous. That one's just silly. The seas shall boil, the crops shall wither, the machine shall drink the last black blood, and mankind shall kill brother for brother over a single gallon. The Petroleum Prophecy 12:8. When the moon is hidden by smoke and the sun rises red through ash, know that the final race has begun. The Book of the Last Lap 7:7. This is some interesting stuff. This is some interesting stuff. Okay. Let's see how this little guy's put together. Of course, we won't know because it's in all kinds of dissimilar colors. Boy, this thing is really low to the ground. Oh. It only works if you put that in there as well. So the reason that I thought about this, just to kill time, is I'd like to put a number on here. So what if the number is actually the name of a quote of one of these? So like, let's say you wanted to put the Final Ignition 8-1 on the side of it. Don't write the whole damn thing out. And then, you could be like, okay, well, that's such and such, What would the Black Psalm read? The Black Psalm, one of the holiest and most feared passages in the prophets of petrol faith. It would be recited before a major battle, over a dying engine, or while anointing a war machine with used motor oil. Good Lord, this is huge. I can also write the Black Psalm as a much darker, shorter battle prayer that could be painted across the side of the Iron Mercy or recited before every Gaslands match. Make it so. It's still too big. I can make it an even more brutal call and response version where a war priest shouts each line and the entire crew answers in unison. Well, they only have a small church. They don't have a cathedral, I mean, there's something to be gained from all that stuff. There's some juicy bits that are that could be implemented in this stuff. Now I can't glue the two pieces together because there's chromium like things that are going to have to be painted. This does not need to be painted. And the tolerance on these things is so small that I don't want to put hot glue in here that will be that'll get in the way. If you put a dab of hot glue, this won't close back up. That's how tight the tolerances are on these vehicles. You know, they're toys, but I mean, they're really. And I'm not gonna, I don't want to be go over the top and say they're works of art. I mean, they really are. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. So we're gonna go take this to the spray station. Um, I think I could just pause, go spray, and come back. I think I should be quick enough to do that. I can't take the computer out there. That would be too big a deal. So I'm gonna put a be right back, and I will be right back. Okay, that didn't take too long. That didn't take too long. A lot better than a spray can. Spray can would have stunk up the whole damn garage. And it missed a lot of spots. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's put this thing together. Whole low flying aircraft sound. Still got some spots that could use a little bit of paint. We can just paint it on here as it is. Let's fire up the hot glue gun and seal this joker. It's a good looking car. It is a good looking car. It didn't look so good before because it's got all kinds of different colors. It's going like in every direction at once. It's trying to please everybody. I got some foam that I picked up yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to use it. It's like 1.5 inch thick sheets, which means I'm going to have to stack them a lot. I'm going to have to glue a lot of stuff together. I got some chunks from work. This is not from work, but this is the beaded kind of styrofoam, and I'm not a fan of this. But I think what I'm going to do, and I forgot to get this yesterday, is I need to get spackling and water it down. And that's what we'll use to cover this thing to make sure the beads don't come off. But I'm going to try to make something that's reasonably sized, like maybe something like this, maybe a tower, a formation, maybe about that deep. Nothing crazy, and just see how it goes. You don't want to like, okay, we're going to start making the Grand fucking Canyon. You know, we're not going to be racing in the canyon. It's still have like a regular ground cover. It's just, you know, things that can stand up or whatever. I think it should... speaking of which, when's my church come in? I haven't gotten an update. It's supposed to be in on Wednesday, I think, or something like that. July 15th through 20th, so not quite. Completed customs clearance. Well, that's on Wednesday of last week. Where's it been since then? No updates since then. And I'm probably going to paint it something like this. Like a whitewash. You know, I'll prime the whole damn thing black. Then probably dry brush it brown. And then, you know, eventually be like a whitewash type thing. The roof isn't going to be whitewashed also. That's kind of ridiculous. But something like that. And we'll put a big engine up here at the top of the steeple. See how it goes. You've used spackle, but not Sculpamold. I'm curious to try Sculpamold. I want to use a spackle, but one that's not going to be as gritty. Not as... they make some that are more flexible than others. and I'm going to try cutting it with a fair amount of water and old paintbrush, and then covering it. And you can see this is just using the stuff that I have out. I just the cutting blade. It's not blade sounds like it's no. It's narrow. It's probably about the size of this, to be honest with you. Just a little thicker than this. It's about this size. It's not serrated or anything like that. It's probably this thickness here. And I'll probably make one, and once I know what the fuck I'm doing. So I don't want to send people down the wrong way. I don't mind making mistakes. I want people going, oh, this is how you do it. I'm like, dude, I've never done this before. You know, I have a clue. You know, I have a clue, and I know what it's going to look like when it's done correctly. I know what I'm happy with it, what it's going to look like. But this is just kind of, you know, cutting it this weird shape and then just sitting aside of it and just kind of melting it. And it looks pretty good considering it doesn't have a coverage on it all. The only reason I'm adding coverage to it is just to kind of try to keep it in place. But I don't think I want to use sheets that are this. I'm going to be doing a lot of stacking, and then I'm going to have to fight those lines. And I got stuff from work. I got stuff that they don't need at work. That's just basically remainders. A lot of remainders. So I'm talking about chunks that are like, you know, this thick. So then it's like literally one chunk. There's nothing in between it. Okay, let's seal this together. Well, I'm glad it only took me 130 cars to figure out how to take these things apart properly. And people were giving me shit. How did you not know how to do it? Because that's the problem with running your mouth about shit. You know, somebody ran their mouth, made an article about how to take them apart. It happened to be the one that I checked out. It seemed legitimate. Bought the tools for it. They sent me down the wrong path of creating a bunch of extra fucking work for me. A good looking vehicle. Definitely better with these wheels. Almost look like wheels on a BMW or something like that. So what was the name of the what's the name of the people that make the implements of carnage? North Star. What do they make? It's called... I think they have it under Gaslands. Gaslands Refueled. Yeah. I really like these Templar effects that they make. I really like these. But imagine buying these, and they're not cheap, I don't think. Actually, they are. How the hell you get them over here? And then all of a sudden they go and like change the rules for version 3 and you can't use them again. That would be a bit annoying. Scavengers, but these guys are dismounted. Yeah, these guys are perfect for this team. They all have gas masks. Well, or a mask. They're called Dark Zone. That's what it is. Scavengers. Scavengers, drivers, and passengers. Oh, they make 2 sets of scavengers. Well, I don't need people on foot. Scavengers and drivers. Winter zombies. They even have one zombie with like a Genghis Khan type hat. Can Genghis come from the dead? Nope. Ah, damn it. I double clicked it. Okay, so they make scavengers, drivers, and passengers. Block troops. What are these, Russians? Yep. Okay. Block driver, passenger, military zombies. That's what they make? Mace face miniatures. All these subcategories of subcategories. It's kind of hard to keep straight. Oh, they make stuff in 15 millimeter too. Now, how about we get back to what else could they possibly? Zombies, villagers, zombie, block troops, drivers, skid dice, interceptor driver. Okay, here's where they make the different things. Wasteland warriors, drivers and passengers. What do we got here? I have a feeling that having a steering wheel in their hand is going to be counterproductive. These guys look like they're painted in white, almost like those guerrilla troops in Africa. They paint themselves in chalk so they look like ghosts or whatever. You know, they'd spook the individuals, the natives. Highway patrol. I don't think I need any cop figures. Corporate TS. See, this would be perfect. Most of the guys would be perfectly happy looking like this. Obviously, they're not going to be in this kind of colored attire. Bootlegger drivers and passengers. Absolutely. I need some rednecks in the back of trucks. I'll see a few of those people tomorrow. Punks. Punk drivers and passengers, okay? Yeah, see, like this guy would automatically be, this guy with a face mask, he's automatically would be a Prophets guy. I'd like all their guys to have masks. You know, that way you don't know who's going to be a self-immolator or whatever. Okay, so they don't make that much stuff. I wonder if somebody's selling them on eBay. We can save some money on the freight. 20 millimeter Gaslands figures. Corporate team, but that's dismounted. This thing's awesome. Look at this cargo plane rampart entrance. That's some cool stuff right there. I really wanted to get this thing. No, it's not this one, but it was like a gas station. I think this is a 28 millimeter one, but something like a gas station. Okay, they have the interceptor driver, highway patrol drivers, corporate team. It's in the United States. It's $17.49 plus $9.75 delivery. It's like $27 for 5 guys. That's a lot. That's why I haven't bought them. That's why I haven't bought them. It's like it just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem right. So I look at that and go, I don't know about this, and I don't get them. Which is what I'm doing now. Gotta take some pics of these kaijus. You're right when I said it had too many things going on with it. It does. It's actually a beautiful vehicle. It's a really, really, really nice designed, regardless of the shit I put on it. I mean, just body-wise, it's a good-looking vehicle. Now, let's get this black in places it didn't get into. And for that, I'm going to need a new one. I'll just use a used one. And let's get a brush that doesn't mind being molested. One that its usefulness won't be ruined by doing this to it. And that's what's great about this primer, is it gets in all these little nooks and crannies. The last thing I want is something that's lighter colored than the outside of the vehicle in some nook or cranny. It draws attention to you when it's something that should be in a shadow. Could make a gas station from that foam. I used to make buildings real easily. I don't know. Is it worth my time? That's the problem. Yes, I could, but I've been disappointed when I made the little roundhouse. I was disappointed. I had a vision, and it didn't quite work. I'm not happy with it. I'm still not happy with it. I'm actually okay with the cantina. The cantina turned out really well. But the little roundhouse, I'm just not happy with it. So, I mean, the vehicles are turning out, with the exception of 2, particularly 1, better than I could ever have hoped. So the buildings need to follow that same suit, or I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna hear the end of it from myself. So we'll do the church. We'll see how that gets those juices going for for that. It might be a piece of shit. It may not work. I may not buy another one of those again. They may be great. Well, I don't need another church, but another one of those type buildings. MDF type building. These pipes are definitely going to be dry brushed in that the iron color. Let's do a search. Menacing pipe organ. Yeah, they're frequently brass. That's what I thought. All right. Let's start there. give you a lot of confidence. Such an easy thing to do. I'm not saying that lightly. Not only I think you could do it, open up new ideas. Maybe. You don't want me. You want me to put. You want to put up with me bitching about it? Well, I certainly don't want to be sitting on a bunch of buildings, a bunch of building kits. I know it's not a building kit, but the church is going to be priority. I don't want to get stuck with, with that and not. The thing is, this is a pretty detailed piece, these little organs, but man, when I take my contacts out, I see everything. I see things I shouldn't see. I see all the little lines, all the 3D printing lines. I just get really discouraged when I do something and it doesn't turn out well, which is okay, right? But then I'm like, all right, let's try to fix it by doing this. And I still can't get it. I'm still not happy with it. Like, all right, let's try this and fix it. And no matter what I do, it just doesn't get any better. And I'm like, it's not like I threw it away. It's still over there. It's just not. I thought it would work and I was mistaken. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this color. On here. I'm not going to leave it like that, but I don't want an undertone of some rust. And we go and dry brush a lighter color on it. What am I looking at? What have I done? All right, what's the next color up in the brass family? That doesn't belong there. There's one that's almost orange-like. That's not the one I'm thinking about. They should all be down there in the corner. Here's another one. That's also not the one I'm thinking about. Then there's the bronze, which is also not the one I'm thinking about. Which is this one. Is this one? No, it's black. I bet what it is the end of it. It's like it's not mixed well, and it looks like one of the other ones. Yeah, so it's not bronze. It's not old gold, and it's not gold. It's the one that's called brass, and here it is. It looks like a brown. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's do half this, half the color I just put down. I don't want it to look too bright. I think this is going to work. I did have to use this full on. I couldn't mix half and half because dry brushing sometimes relies on colors being different from each other enough that they stand out. If you use colors that are really similar to each other, you're like wasting your time. I think that that has the right look. I'm not going to go any brighter than that. And it might have to do some black lining between them to get them each to individually pop, so it doesn't look like a big all one thing. And I think the next thing I have to do is I have to do the weathering. I have to get a secondary light so you can take some better pictures. Taking pictures is a pain in the ass. I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm not saying you think that it is just the human eye is incredible. It is. You'll see things. And you'll see things, I'm like, that looks great there. And you take a photo of it, like, that's not what I see. So you tinker with it. Not to make it look better, but so you can look at this, it looks like what you see. And then you post it on Facebook, and it fucks with the picture, and it's like, that's not what I posted. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. These lights, this is a great light. And so is that one, but they give you a lot of kickback. Anything that's shiny is going to kick back and makes it look like it's a pain in the ass. It's a really it's a big pain in the ass trying to get it to cooperate. Get it to cooperate. And back of it looks like a Corvette actually. I wonder if I have small enough numbers to put on there. Like, I could just paint numbers. These guys wouldn't use stencils and everything. They're like in a hurry. We gotta get the word out. We gotta get the word out. All right, let's use your famous brushes. They look like they would suck because of this taper. They're not finished well. I mean, ultimately, who cares? But it made me doubt. I mean, hell, they give like an airbrush effect. And that might just be because the bristles are really thin. Never been into photography. I wish I took a class in college. Me too. I wish I took a class in typing. Be nice to understand the basic principles. Yeah, I wish I took a class on typing. It's so annoying to type things and not be able to look at the screen. I don't hunt for the keys, but I gotta look at them. All right, middle color. These are ones that Hoffman recommended on the internet. Let me find them. I don't know if they're available in Britain, but they're probably really similar to what's available there. Yeah, I'm tired and I want to bed early. Makeup brush set. This one's from Soyok. Soyok Direct, Soyok. Oh, now they're even cheaper. Now they're 13%. Now they're $7.99. You come with one thing that's not very useful. This thing you can curl your eyelashes. Yeah, we ain't got no fucking time for that shit. Yeah, I paid $7.99 for them. They're $6.99. Yeah, Hoffman recommended them, and they're great. And there might be other ones that are great too, but you know, no point in buying stuff from Army Paint or whatever. The Army Painter, if Army Painter makes one, they're probably made in the same factory in the next Chinese town over. And people say, oh, they hate Amazon. Well, here's the reality. You go to stores and they don't have things. And you're burning a bunch of fuel. And that's bad for the environment. So take that, hippie. And even more than that, you just waste time. Like, let me go get some brush. Let me go to the... That's why I haven't gone to the game store in town. I go to the game store. They're out of white paint. They're out of this. They're closed. They were closed on... What day were they closed on? Memorial Day or something like that. Like, game stores aren't closed on Memorial Day. Well, that one is. Well, they didn't get a sale. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to Amazon stuff from them. That's the tank. Damn it! I got to order another set. I got rid of that. Man. Well, I guess I'll just have to keep using what I'm using now for that type of tickling. It's a bit abrasive, but it gets the job done. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's airbrushed. I don't know if you guys can see it, but... I didn't unzoom the screen. I just started this morning, and remember that zooming the last show that we did? It decided I didn't want that. I saw Pro Art were advertising jobs. They aren't mega far from me. Mega far. That wasn't even the lightest color. Where is the Iraqi sand? Put it in the wrong place. I certainly did. I never pulled it down. So I should get a job working for Pro Art. Yeah, I could just You guys cover all the medical care, so I don't have to get a job with benefits, right? That's the advantage of being in Britain is you don't. Healthcare is no additional cost. I didn't say free. Man, it looks good. Yeah, these brushes are definitely better than what I was using before. What I was using before is fine, but this is even better than that. Yeah, it looks great. You gotta go in there and paint that engine, or what little bit of it we can see. I mean, it looks really good. Okay, that's where we're gonna stop, or you'll be like, the black song. Well, it's not even black. Exactly. I can't work at an art supply place though. They wouldn't hire me. I don't have blue hair. I don't have blue hair. They wouldn't hire me. They discriminate. Artsy places discriminate against normal looking people. Oh man. Ooh, this bitch is still warm, man. You've been off for a little while. All right, now let's put this on a pedestal. I got a window here that serves no purpose. I could have put the window in there, but it doesn't really matter. It's all black, can't see shit. Have I seen the Rhodesian Leopard vehicle? Looks quite Gaslandish. Oh, if it's that one that was designed for, are you allowed to say Rhodesia in Britain? Don't get canceled. Rhodesian. I bet since the Rhodesians got kicked out, or it's under new ownership. Well, not new. It's been a while. I bet none of those vehicles are running. I'm just a guess here. Rhodesia, Leopard. Mine. Yeah, it's the one that has that like the mines deflect upwards or something like that. Oh no, I've never seen such a thing. This is funky. This would not last long. This is not. Yeah. Yeah, they got some. You know what I hate about Rhodesia? Well, I could say a lot of things after that comment, but I'm just like, Those little shorts those guys wore, that's fucking weird, man. Like, wear some normal. You can't carry anything in those shorts, man. And then you wear a big mustache on top of it. It's like, me no likey. But speaking of Rhodesia, when I was shopping for decor for my computer, which I don't believe in putting stickers on things, but I decided to do it. It's not really on the computer, it's on the case that's on the computer. I saw a sticker that I really liked, and I put it on the back of my computer. And you guys probably can't have it in Britain, so hopefully you don't get canceled for this. And I'll tell you why I put it on there. Not because I'm promoting white supremacy or anything, but I hate fucking communists, and I love FALs. And I saw this. Communist Safari, Rhodesia. It's got an FAL on it. Long sleeves and short shorts. Yeah, they're short. I mean, they're impractical, man. It's impractical to be wearing shorts to begin with. Right? I know it's hot. It's still fucking hot if you're wearing, shorts. But, like, dude, you can't put any... I mean, those magazines on those... you need to put some extra magazines for the FAL. You need to... you need some fucking pockets. You make some utility shorts. All right, let's start painting this engine that's in there. Got to get going. Have to get some writing done today. My condolences. Wait, you enjoy that? You doing writing would be like me eating ice cream. Oh man, I gotta eat some ice cream today. I hate to break it to you. It's gonna be a rough day, man. I gotta eat some ice cream. Put me in, coach. I'm glad you enjoy writing, man. That's good for you. By the way, good morning, Ben. Stuck in there. Maybe I missed it. Okay, this is an engine part of some sort. What smells good? Something smells good. I think it's the primer. It smells pleasant. The Steno Riz does not smell pleasant. I feel like the Vallejo one has no smell. This is the Ammo MiG one. It smells good in the way that a freshly painted latex house smells good. Yeah, it's nice. Another reason never to use enamels. Enamels never smell good. Of course, you could be that one wacko that likes the smell of like gasoline or something like that. I've heard about that. There's people that like the smell of like petrol. Like, well, then you need to be on this team. If you like the smell of petrol, you need to be on this team. All right, I gotta have some fun with something. And sorry, Hoffman's not here for this, but I'll tell him about it later. That's why I like doing this, because there's no time frame like, oh, we gotta get the two more stands of skirmishers done by tomorrow kind of thing. Like, no, we don't. We don't have to do anything like that. I already have way too many demands from work. I don't need it for this. So let's go to the same thread that we got going on. And let's ask it to do something. Let's see if it'll do something for me. Well, it won't be in this thread because somehow this one's locked or whatever. I can't add more things to it. Let me just create another one. I would like to come up with names for some of the drivers for the Prophets of Petrol, for Gaslands. These names are going to be based on your own name, and I would like to have the equivalent version in the Petrol Prophets. I fucked that up sideways. Okay. I'd like to come up with some names for some drivers for the Prophets of Petrol. I'm going to supply some names of real people, and I would like for you to change them into what their equivalent name or handle might be when they are a prophet of Petrol. Absolutely. Send me the real names, and I turn each one into a Prophets of Petrol name, road name, or cult handle. I'll aim for names that feel like they belong to the faction we've built. For each person, I can give you something like real name, Marcus Bell, prophet name, Deacon Deadfire, road handle, The Last Spark, title, Keeper of the Ninth Cylinder. Send me the names. Okay. Ben, you here? I'm just gonna, I needed a break, so my break is to do more, to double down on this. Is real people's names for inspiration, but it's nobody real that I know. None of you guys would be lunatic enough to do this shit, And besides, you're much better looking than whatever these wackos look like. Okay. So I'm not going to use your real name on here, so in case somebody doesn't want to know. Just painting in the background. Okay, perfect. So I entered your first and last name, your real first last name. Okay? You know what it is, I know what it is. Here are your strongest options. Brother Benzene. A corrupted version, great for a driver that lives for fuel and fire. It gives me lots of different options. I like Brother Benzene. And I'm just doing this for fun. I don't want to put real people in a Gaslands environment because you're probably not a felon. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're probably not a felon, and you don't need to be executed on the tabletop. So one of the people I'm playing with, oh, that's my car, that's going to be me. I'm like, you don't want that to be you. You can be the person that controls that vehicle, but you don't want it to be you. Benjamin Black Smoke. No, that's your Jamaican name. Benzin Ben. Brother Benzoil. That's not bad. Saint Blacklung. No. Brother Benzene, yeah. Within the Prophets of Petrol, his full ceremonial name could be Brother Benzene, Inhaler of the Sacred Fumes, and Keeper of the Black Flame. All right, let's do me. No, not tiny. There's nothing tiny on me other than my ability to do algebra 2. Brother Agonizer. That would be me. Tony Two Stroke. Wow, that sounds like somebody that finishes fast. Oh, Deacon Aguilash. No. Brother Tonnage. That would be the opposite of tiny. Tonnage. Saint Octane. I don't know where you get that from my name. Tonius the Combusted. Wow, I think I'd be just shriveled up there. More theatrical and biblical, like a name recorded in the Black Psalm. Brother Agony. So the strongest pick, according to this, would be Brother Agonizer, breaker of axles, drinker of smoke, and the herald of the final collision. I like the final collision. Work that into something. All right, yeah, we're going to do Mitch. Of course. Keeper of the burnt rutabaga. Mitch the Misfire. A great road handle for an unpredictable, reckless driver. Mitch Match. The Harbinger. Okay. That's funny. That's some funny stuff. There's you can have a lot of fun with that at the expense of small towns that will run out of water. They're full of commies. Okay. We need to do some tail lamps. And we need to do some headlamps. What is this thing called? The Black Psalm? Yeah. Now, I know it's not done yet. Let's put it next to the other vehicle and see if they look like they could be buddies. And hopefully the answer is yes. This looks like it's brand new compared to this rattle trap. Yeah, those wheels are great. Those wheels are really, really good. I keep saying I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to buy a bunch of cars just for the wheels, and I never do. I get sidetracked by other stuff. These are excellent wheels. Excellent, excellent wheels. right, let's do the tail lamps. We don't got it. We don't want to get a moving violation for having a tail light out. Don't need two-stroke. And his sidekick, one and done. Oh man. One of the things that I don't like about Gaslands, it seems to me that, and maybe this is because it's science fiction, fantasy, both. Maybe this is a common thing. I'm just not used to this kind of thing. I know this could happen in historical games as well. It usually doesn't. Maybe because most of us are a little older. But there are, in the Gaslands community, or people that play Gaslands, seems to be a whole lot of people that are, let's just call them tenderfoots. That honestly, I'm not used to dealing with. I'm not used to dealing with people like that. All right, let's give it a little bit of white. Make some of that pop. Just a little, just a wee bit. in the front, we're just going to have to pretend that they're white headlamps. And I'm going to put an X through them. And I don't know what color the X is going to be. Might be maybe slightly different just for a pop of color. Gaslands is a bit more mainstream historical. So yeah, the Redditoid. That's a good way to call them. Like, Reddit, there's some people that just like, dude, like laugh a little, I mean, I don't want to, disenfranchise anybody, but I like making fun of everything, you know? Redditoid. Is that anything like Angloid? I got a case of the Angloids. I'm just not used to that, man. I'm old school, and it's like, we used to make fun of everything. I still do. And now it's like, oh, people only make fun of things that are like really weird sexual deviancies. Well, you shouldn't even fucking have them weird sexual deviancies, but whatever. Can't we just make fun of everything, Got some lights down here. I'm going to put this in, I'm going to make these in gray, and they may end up not being white. I may end up making them in a color. Maybe not. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's hard to go on. I'll search for something and it gives me a Reddit. I'm like, all right, let's see what Reddit says. And I'm like, oh my God, these people need to be like, these people need some responsibility thrust upon them. But one of the worst things about Reddit, if you go on there and search for something, the first response is something you're not looking for. I don't know how that works, but it said, give me some examples of, I don't know, units that use Tiger Tank, right? On Reddit. I wouldn't use Reddit for that, but if it gave me that, the very first thing that comes up is something not related to Tiger Tanks or World War II or anything at all. And then the second response is like when the thread starts. I find that annoying. Like, why are you in here? This is like a private conversation. Get the hell out of here if you want to talk about, how big cucumbers grow in the summertime, Now, I think these ones that aren't colored, we'll bring them up a little bit more. But because the other ones have a piece of tape over them, I don't think I can go full on bright and then put tape. I just think that those two things will work against each other. I think I'm going to go with, what tape? I think red would look okay. I think red would be okay. I can't just ignore it because it's molded on there. It's literally three-dimensional. I think that's gonna look good. Keep it down over there. See if I can take a picture of this. Looks a lot more pink in this than it really is. But it's three-dimensional on there. Let's get some black lining in here. Reditoid. You Reditoid. Guy's got a case of the Reditoids. Be nice to get this guy done this morning. It's a really attractive vehicle. Get a little shaky there, Chief. Yeah, life's too short to be arguing with people that we're never going to change their mind. Like that one, I'm not on Fanaticus anymore. I rarely go on there, but it was it was certainly my daily site that I would go on. And a couple of years ago, I went on there. It was more than a couple of years ago, and they were having this long, drawn out discussion about how they needed to paint the roofs of buildings white so that it reflects the sun to fight global warming. I'm like, I don't need that kind of politics here, you know? Like, don't you have figures to paint? Paint the roof of your house whatever color you want, dude. Like, what's that got to do with, what book is that in? That book, is that a book 4 discussion? Need more of this stuff. We gotta drip some of this stuff inside. pretty good. Unfortunately, it looks kind of bland. I mean, I could put the symbol of the prophets on it, but I don't know. I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that I want to do that. Well, I think we're gonna shut this one down, and we'll see you guys on the next one.